Dear students, so far we have discussed about how male gametes are formed from anther. Now we are going to see about how female gametophyte is formed from gynecium. So this is gynecium. The gynecium consists of ovary, style, stigma. Inside the ovary, ovule will be there. So this is the megasporangium or ovule. So this is the structure of ovule. So each and every ovules are magnified into a big size. This is microscopical view about ovule. Now it is a diagrammatical representation of this ovule. I shall explain in detail. See here, this ovule is consist of two important parts are called ovule body and a stalk. The stalk-like structure of this ovule is called funiculus or funicle. Funicle or funiculus. This body of the ovule, which will be connecting this stalk-like structure called funicle at a place is called hilum. So this part is called hilum. So in the body of the ovule is having a huge mass of parenchymatous cells which are called as nucellus. These nucellus, which are surrounded by a two covering, one or two coverings might be there. These are called as integuments. The innermost covering is called inner integument. The outermost covering is called outer integument. There are two integuments which are surrounding the nucellus. See here, this nucellus is surrounded by integument and which is leaving a small pore on it. This small space or small pore, this is called as micropyle. So this end is called micropylar end. Just opposite to this micropylar end, this is called chalaza. This end is called chalaza end. So this is chalaza, this is micropyle, this is chalaza end, this is micropyle end. Okay, come to the point. So inside the nucellus, so one of the cell will be developed into the female gametophyte is called as embryo sac. How the female gametophyte is formed, I shall tell you later on in detail. But one of the cell from the nucellus are developed to form this embryo sac. So embryo sac is female gametophyte. Now various types of ovule are there. There are 6 different types of ovules are there. We shall discuss now. So this is 6 different types of ovule. They are one by one. We shall see. They are orthotrophous, anotrophous, hemianotrophous, camphylotrophous, amphitrophous, and circinotrophous. There are 6 different types of ovule. How these different types of ovule can be identified depends upon the position of micropyle, this chalaza, as well as the funicle. How this funicle, the chalaza, and the micropiles are arranged on the base of it, we can divide various different kinds of ovule. First of all, we shall see among these 6, these first 4 are most important types. They are orthotrophous, anotrophous, hemianotrophous, and camphylotrophous. First of all, we shall see about orthotrophous. If you see in orthotrophous, this micropyle, funicle, and chalaza are being in straight line and being in vertical position. If it is being in straight line, then this is called as orthotrophous. The second type of ovule is called anotrophous. What will happen? This body of the ovule is bent down or inverted in position, which is very close to the funicle. So this funicle as well as micropyle are very close to each other. Then this micropyle and the chalaza are straight line, which is parallel to this funiculus. Such a type of ovule is called anotrophous. So next one is third ovule. This is hemianotrophous. Here the funicle and the body of the ovule are perpendicular to each other. If you see such a type of ovule will be called as hemianotrophous. Camphylotrophous is also both funicle as well as the body of the ovules are perpendicular to each other. But here at the corner, this micropyle, this micropylar end is slightly curved, as well as this embryo sac and this nucellus slightly curved or bent. Such a type of ovule are called as amphilotrophous. And the fifth one is called amphitrophous. This amphitraphis is still curved. For example, see here, this embryo sac as well as the nucellus completely curved to form like a horseshoe shaped structure. And moreover, this funicle and this ovule, the micropyle, very close to each other to form a horseshoe shaped embryo sac and nucellus. Then this type is called amphitraphis. Then the last one is called cyrcinotraphis. If you see the cyrcinotraphis, the funiculus is very long and the ovule body will be present inside the circle of this funiculus. That means this funiculus is forming like a spring. Inside the spring, the body of this ovule is present. Such a type of ovule is called cyrcinotraphis ovule. So these 6 different types of ovule may be asked in the examination point of view is concerned in 5 more questions. Next we are going to discuss about how this female gametophyte is formed. That means development of ovule or embryo sac, how this is developed. Step by step we shall go through. So earlier, as I said just now, inside the ovule there is a large body is there which are made up of by parenchymatous mass of cells. These are called as nucellus. This nucellus is completely made up by a soft, delicate parenchyma cells. Among these parenchyma cells, one of the cells are peculiarly enlarged and which are having a conspicuous nucleus. This cell is called archisporial cell. This archisporial cell develop and enlarge to form megaspore mother cell. So this is become into megaspore mother cell. By the meantime, this nucellus is surrounded by the inner integument. Integument is formed. Then later, meiotic cell division takes place on megaspore mother cell. So megaspore mother cell undergoes meiotic cell division to form 4 cell stage. Out of this 4 cells, now it is haploid. It is diploid in nature. Now this is what you call 4 different types of cells may be formed from megaspore mother cell. So this is called male gametophyte will be formed later on. This is called megaspore. Now out of these 4 different cells, these 3 cells towards the micropylar end will be disappear. So remaining only 1 cell is left. This is the functional megaspore. So this is a single nucleus. Remaining all the cell will be disappear. This single cell undergo mitotic cell division to produce 2 nucleate stages. Once again, one more mitotic cell division to produce 4 nucleate stages. One more mitotic cell division to produce 8 nucleate stages. So at this position, this nucellus is surrounded by 2 integuments, inner integuments and outer integuments. Now see, inside the nucellus, embryo sac is well developed. Inside the embryo sac, out of this 8 nucleus stage, 3 nucleus are moving towards micropylar end. One is become very large and big size of nucleus, which is called as egg. This is female gamete. Just near to the female gamete, there are 2 other cells are there. These are called as xylogids. Both these egg cells and 2 xylogid cells are combined together are called as egg apparatus. This is called as egg apparatus. In the opposite to the micropylar end, this is jalazayan. Another 2 more cells are being present. These are called as 3 antipodal cells. The remaining 2 cells, 2 nucleus are being in the center. These are called as polar nucleus or secondary nucleus. So in such a way, what happened? The ovule is completely developed into embryo sac. Now this embryo sac is producing egg and polar nucleus. Now these will be take part in fertilization later on. So another one important diagram is also very much important as well as examination point of view is concerned about structure of ovule. The enlarged part of this embryo sac I shall show you separately here. Here this is embryo sac. So this is the structure of embryo sac. See here, this is having 7 cell stage, 8 nuclei, 7 cell stage. So this is called embryo sac. So inside the embryo sac, there is a female gamete. This is called egg. This is supported by two synergids. These synergids are very much helpful for fertilization for the egg cell during fertilization. So all this pollen tube are penetrate inside the synergids only. So during fertilization, the synergids are helping for the egg for fertilization. In the opposite end, this is chalaza end. There are two other cells are there. These are called as antipolar cells. The center polar nucleus are there. This is secondary nucleus. These are also called as secondary nucleus. These are take part in the fertilization. That is double fertilization. As I said just now, in the male gametophyte, in the pollen tube may be produced. There are two male gametes are there. One gamete will be fused with zygote, egg to form zygote to form embryo. The second male gamete of this pollen tube will be fused with the polar nucleus. The polar nucleus is already diploid. Two nucleus. One more nucleus will be formed. So triple fusion will be takes place. About these are all the things we shall discuss tomorrow class in detail. So today this is enough. That's all about the male gametophyte formation and female gametophyte formation. So now gametogenesis is completed. Next, pollination and fertilization may be takes place. What is pollination? We have seen the structure of flower. See the flower once. I shall tell you about pollination. Pollination is nothing but transferring of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Suppose this is a flower. Pollen grains, already discussed very detailed. Pollen grains are formed from the anther. Similarly, ovule is get ready. Here, female gametes is being here. Here, this is anther. This anther is releasing pollen grain. This pollen grain is falling on the stigma. So, pollination is a process in which transferring a pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the flower is called pollination. That we can see tomorrow. This pollination is two types. One is, if the pollen grain is falling on the stigma of the same flower, then this is called self-pollination. Suppose, if the pollen grain from this anther is transferred to the stigma of the another flower, then that is called cross-pollination.
Sexual reproduction in plants. In this module, you will learn how sexual reproduction takes place in flowering plants. It is spring season. Flowers are blooming on the trees. It is indeed a beautiful sight.
Dear students, so in flowers, you might have seen about the essential parts of flower, that is androecium and gynoecium. If the flowers are having both androecium and gynoecium, then the flower is called bisexual flower. If a flower is having either androecium or gynoecium, then this is called unisexual flower. For example, if a flower is consist of only androecium or only stamens, then they are called male flower. If the flowers are having only gynoecium, then these flowers are called as female flower. So these are called unisexual flower. Sometimes the unisexual flowers are present in the same plant. That means male flower at one position, female flower is in another position. Then this is called monoecious. We can see through this video.
In the flower, stamen is the male reproductive part, while carpel is the female reproductive part. Some flowers contain both male and female reproductive parts. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. For example, pea, China rose, etc. On the other hand, some flowers possess either the male or the female reproductive parts.
Students, you can see here two flowers. One at the top, that is male flower, tassel. Another one is female, it is a cob. So both male and female flowers are present in the same plant. Then this flower is called monoecious. So this is a maize plant. So maize plant is monoecious. Monoecious means both male and female flower are present in the same plant. Right? But not androgens and gynoeciums are present in the same flower. That is bisexual. It is unisexual flower, but unisexual flowers are present in the same plant. Suppose male flower separate, female flower separate, then this is called dioecious. For example, Cucurbita. Cucurbitaceae, all the Cucurbitaceae members are having bisexual. Okay, carry on.
Such flowers are called unisexual flowers. For example, corn, cucumber, etc. Now let us know about the different parts that make up a stamen and a carpel. A stamen is made of two main parts, anther and filament. The anther produces pollen grains. It is the pollen grain that contains the male gametes. A carpel, on the other hand, is made up of three parts. The terminal part is called the stigma. The middle elongated part is the style, and the swollen bottom part is the ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are present. It is the ovule that has the female gamete called the egg cell. For sexual reproduction to take place, a male gamete is to be fused with the female gamete, thereby forming a zygote. First, a pollen grain carrying the male gametes is transferred from the stamen of a flower to the stigma of the same or the other flower. Such transfer of pollen grains is known as pollination. When a grain of a flower lands on the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollination. But if the pollen grain of a flower lands on the stigma of another flower of the same or another plant of the same type, it is called cross-pollination. Pollination occurs with the help of different agents like wind, water, or animals. Once a pollen grain reaches the stigma of a suitable flower, a tube grows from the pollen grain. This tube travels through the style and reaches the ovary. The male gamete from the pollen travels in this tube and reaches to the female gamete present in the ovule of the ovary. After that, the male and the female gamete fuse together to form the zygote. This process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. The zygote formed after the fertilization then divides several times to form an embryo inside the ovule. The ovule develops a tough coat and changes to a seed. The ovary, on the other hand, ripens and forms a fruit around the seed. At this time, the other parts of the flower, like the sepals and petals, fall off. So, a seed present inside a fruit contains an embryo, which is actually a baby plant. Each time a seed is planted in soil and provided appropriate conditions, it grows into a seedling, which then grows